Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome to a match in progress. This is one of the craziest matches I've had in War Thunder to date, with a certain thing happening that I gotta say, well, you just have to see it. So, we are in the J22, I think this is called. Let me pull out Alt Tabitha to see. Yes, J21A-1 is exactly what I said the first time. Now, we've been searching around for Soviets for the majority of this match. We climbed to about 3K, which is a bare minimum for this aircraft, because you're not going to climb rapidly in the J21, even when it's fully upgraded. And we find an IL-2. Get a piece of him, but you gotta break off a lot of chunks before you can shoot an IL-2 out of the sky. He tries to get guns on target, but we don't commit transferring our energy back into altitude and rope-a-doping down on top of him. He's not really going for it though, diving away. IL-2 can dive, but they run out of energy very rapidly. Another aircraft that does not climb super well. So, all in all, I'd say I have a huge advantage in this engagement, but every round that I fire out of my 20mm cannon is going to reduce my efficiency in this battle. And ammo conservation is going to be important facing all of these Soviets. I'm going to have to punch above my weight class in this match, and you'll see how that works out for me as things carry on. Moving in to finish off the IL-2, he's starting to get his, well, I thought he might be getting his nose up, so I pull away, but he's actually going into the trees. So that worked out okay for me. Maybe we got his engine. I don't always get a message for the crits I'm getting now. Yak 2 cab coming in at me, and somehow I fly just in between his rounds. I think I took an AP to the wing, but no serious damage. And it looks like we smoked up one of his engines, so that is a very fair trade in a head-on. I decided to go for that one, but to not overcommit because he had so much more energy than me. I knew I needed to deal some damage to him because these Soviet aircraft can climb like nobody's business, and the J21, while it is a solid all-rounder in a lot of ways, is lacking in climb rate for a single-engine fighter, and that really changes how you play this aircraft. It's a different playstyle. It's almost like a Focke-Wulf, but not quite exactly the same. A really interesting way of playing the game, and here we get a good burst and still managed to survive, taking a few hits. Not sure if those were the 20 mils or the machine guns, but we managed to get away with that one. And we have a few enemy aircraft coming in, and at least one ally here with us, and we're going to need to counter them as much as we can. Now, I go in to finish off the Yak. He does have two engines, and I really don't have time to deal with him if he was going to put that fire out. We really need to be aggressive here and take down as many people as possible. We almost dip ourselves in the drink now, even though we are a tough, meaty Swedish meatball here. Once you dip this thing in the water, it's night-night. So the elevator and the flaps need to be used when you're in these lower speed maneuvers. The J21 sort of feels like a Focke-Wulf in that regard, along with its good energy retention. It doesn't have the climb rate of a Focke-Wulf though, but it does have great guns as we take down another Soviet appropriated aircraft. What was it, like a 3 or a 4 on 2 has gone down to a 2 on 1, but the Spitfire has taken damage, and when a Spit takes damage to his engine like that, he's leaking coolant and oil from the looks of it. He's not long for this world. We're pretty close to our airfield though, so if he can manage to stay alive in this energy fight, and stalling out is not a good way to do it. It looks like he is almost going into the ground. This I-180 deciding between targets to face down, whether he'll finish off the Spitfire or go for the Swedish boy. Spit goes into the drink. You never want that in your restaurant meal. And we don't manage to have enough elevator authority to take down the I-180, and we would be dead. Except that our AI landing craft, or whatever the heck that ship is, manages to get a direct hit on the I-180, setting him a fuego. Here I am with 10 MG rounds. That's probably 5 in between 2 guns. And wow. You don't see that very often. So we're going to get a chance to go back to base, refuel, and rearm. And just as things were finishing up, I noticed 1 or 2 dots on the horizon in the clouds coming directly for us. They know where we're going to be. We couldn't have gotten far from the airfield. And now it's myself and a bomber left in the match against at least 2 enemy Soviet planes that tend to perform very well in these low altitude fights, so it's going to be a tough one. The J21 has been a really satisfying aircraft for me, a stable, reliable, all-rounder, but not excellent in a one-on-one, especially in a turn fight. So that is not good news at this point in the match. We've managed to do pretty well. We've made a difference, but we're going to have to go really hard, and we're going to have to get lucky if we're going to pull out a win on this one. Now, what is this? He looks like a heavy fighter. It is a Yak-2 cab, and his round manages to take out our elevator. We got an engine smoking on him, but that's no problem for a Yak-2. They have 2 of them after all. Now we get to play defensive flying with no elevator in a J21. This match is as good as over, but it ain't over, and we're actually getting separation from the damaged Yak-2, and Airfield AA is opening up on him. Anything could happen at this point, but remember, there's at least 1 more enemy fighter in the area, and ourselves lacking an elevator. Now, if this was any other aircraft, having no elevator would be a little bit less of a problem than it is right now, but the way that the weight distribution works on these pushers, when they have the prop in the rear, it means that your flight is a lot less stable when you don't have elevator control. So we're going to try and make this work, and we're learning as we go here. It looks like the Yak-2 is bugging out, so that helps, but I expect another enemy aircraft to be closing to our area at any moment. I don't know what my ally is doing. I don't know if that ally bomber is still around or not. I kind of have a lot of things to focus on right now, is what I'm saying. So now I have to think, what can I do? I can pop my flaps a little bit, and I don't know how the aircraft is going to respond when I start to lose airspeed. This is my 2nd time trying to land a whatever the heck this thing is. I just mentioned what a J21. This is my 2nd time trying to land a J21 with no elevator, and the first time didn't turn out very well for me. We impacted the ground at very high speed at a really poor angle of attack. So I'd rather that wasn't the case. In fact, it'd be kind of nice if I can manage to land on my runway. So I've figured out how to adjust the nose, and I've gotten a good run up on the runway. If I take too long lining up this run, then the enemy is going to close on the airfield and take me down, or they'll be at a huge advantage when they come in to finish me off. So I need to make this work, and this is, that's just the worst. I've been popping the flaps, and I lose one. I didn't pop it fast enough, and you can see as we start to slow down and put the gear down, the flight model gets really strange, and the stupid ass trees in front of the runway cause some serious damage. Now watch this maneuver. We have a chance. If I can pull off this roll just right, we won't be coming in at too steep of an angle. Okay, a skid, a skid, we're skidding in, we're fairly flat. This is not a terrible angle of attack for a belly landing, but, does anybody else feel like the wings shouldn't have just flown off at that point? Does anybody else feel like a belly landing in War Thunder should be possible with this aircraft? Well, whatever. It is what it is. The snail giveth, and the snail taketh away. Any landing you can walk away from is a good landing. And if my pilot can hop into a Jeep really fast, maybe he can get away from the airfield before the Soviets overrun us. But that's all, and you can tell that it's not PewDiePie flying this one because my pilot has his legs. Catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. How do you like it, babe? Was that a good one?
I was listening to all of it, but I like the tree part.